Okay, so today we're looking at the story of the rich young ruler. Guy comes up to Jesus. What must I do to inherit eternal life? Jesus says, give up all your money. The guy can't do it. He goes away sad. I think this story is probably one of the most misunderstood stories in the Gospels, and it teaches exactly the opposite of what many people think. The account is contained in all three synoptic Gospels: Mark chapter 10 verses 7 to 31, Luke 18 verses 18 to 23, and Matthew 19 verses 16 to 30. When there are multiple accounts of an incident in the Gospel, we want to take advantage of that and be familiar with all of them. So please do that. Please read all three. I'll mainly be working off the account in Luke, ESV version, using BibleGateway.com. If you could pause this video now and have the text in front of you, that would be really helpful. Otherwise, if you just listen to the video, you're going to think, yeah, that's just 496X's interpretation. Whereas if you have the text open in front of you, you'll be able to follow along and you will know if I am telling you the truth or not. Okay, so please do that now. Okay, first off, we notice, or usually if you look carefully, you notice some conflicting verses, or verses that appear to conflict. The guy says, what must I do to inherit eternal life? And Jesus says, give up all your wealth. But later on in the account, Jesus says, what is impossible with man is possible with God. So where you've got a conflict like that and you don't understand it, you can't resolve them, that means that we need to look more carefully at the text. That means we're not quite there yet. We need to do more work until we're not on the author's wavelength yet, so to speak. And another thing to notice when we're looking at text is surprising verses. So the disciples ask, who then can be saved? Nowadays the idea that a rich person can't be saved, that might not be surprising. Wall Street, City of London, billions of dollars in bailout. We may not think there's anything special about wealthy people, but the fact that the disciples are surprised, that gives us a clue that we may be missing something. We need to think a bit more about it. Okay, let's begin. Let's look at the man first. We know he's wealthy. Every Sunday school kid knows that. But he's not just wealthy. Notice as well, in Luke verse 18, we're told he's a ruler. And in verse 21, we find out that he's also a religious man. He's familiar with and keeps the commandments. Now, in the Old Testament, the covenant that God made, the Mosaic covenant, it had blessings and curses, and there were blessings for obedience, and these were material blessings. So this guy, the fact that he's got a lot of wealth, that is a good thing. It's not an accident that these details are recorded for us. This guy is wealthy, so he has the blessings of God. He's a ruler. He's very senior, a pillar of society, we may say today, and he's a religious man. He knows and obeys God's law. This isn't just any guy. Okay, you need to understand that this is the prime candidate. I think it's in the account in Matthew. It says the disciples were astonished, and they said, who then can be saved? So this explains their astonishment. This guy is the prime candidate. If anyone was going to be saved, it was going to be this guy. Okay, so the man can't do what Jesus asks, and what Jesus says next is key to this story. In response to the disciples asking, who then can be saved, Jesus answers, what is impossible with man is possible with God. Who then can be saved? The whole story revolves around this question. It's the question the man asked, and it's the question the disciples asked. And Jesus answered, what is impossible with man is possible with God. It's not difficult to save yourself. It's impossible to save yourself. Only God can do it. The implication is God needs to do a miracle in your life, and God hadn't done it for this man. now let's look at what Peter says next. Peter says, well, we've left our homes to follow you. And Jesus said, yes, you have. You'll get your reward. You have eternal life. What's the implication? The implication is that God has done the miracle in the life of Peter and the disciples. They are saved. They have eternal life. Yeah, this story is all about answering the question, who can be saved? And the answer is only those for whom God has done that miracle. Yeah, it's all God. Let's think a little bit more about that. Yeah, the miracle that God does comes first, and then we see the results. Then we see the fruit, if you like. Yeah, fruit without that miracle is impossible. But once the miracle's happened, then after that, the fruit comes. People leaving their homes, doing whatever it takes to follow Jesus. People who read this story, too quickly, a cursory reading, they think this is about someone making a choice. But this story is actually saying that God is the one that makes the choice. God does the miracle in your life, and then it's possible to please God, to follow God, to follow Jesus. Okay, I hope that's been helpful for you. Peace and God bless you.